الحمد لله وكفى ثم الصلاة والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى وبعد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. After giving thanks and praises for Allah the Almighty, sending peace and salutation to the soul of the messengers Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family members, his companions, and whoever follow their footsteps of the day of judgment and to proceed. Inshallah, we're still talking about the book of marriage. Last week we spoke about the conditions of marriage, and today we will address Bab al-Muharramat fi nikah, the chapter of what is forbidden for us to marry from women. You know, the type of women that are forbidden for us to marry. And there are two kinds. The first categories are those who are permanently forbidden for us to marry. And then the second category are those who are temporarily forbidden for us to what? To marry. But we'll begin with the first, which is those who are permanently forbidden for us to marry. And this category is also divided into 5 categories. Our noble scholar Ibn Uthaymeen mentioned number 1, Muharram bin Nasab, those who are permanently forbidden for us to marry due to family relationship, which is blood relationship. That's number 1. And number 2, Al-Muharram bin Rada, those who are permanently forbidden for us to marry due to suckling, meaning suckling from the same what? Milk, the same mother. Not really biological mother, but you share the same suckling mother. Number 3, Al-Muharram bin Musahar, those who are permanently forbidden for you to marry due to marital relationship, meaning in-laws. Alright, some of them are permanently forbidden and some are temporarily forbidden, and we will mention them as we move further. And number 4, those who are permanently forbidden due to al-li'an, and we will expound on that. Number 5, those who are permanently forbidden due to al-ihtiram, due to respect. Our noble scholar Ibn Uthaymeen said we'll begin with the last one, which is the number 5, because it is the easiest one to address. Women that are forbidden for us to marry due to what? Respect. Not because they relate to us, not because of any other reason, but because of what? Respect. And of course, this does not exist anymore. It existed during the time of the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So I'm giving you the clue so that you will tell me who are they? The wives of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because Allah the Almighty mentioned clearly in Surah Al-Ahzab, وَمَا كَانَ لَكُمْ أَن تُغْضُوا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ وَلَا أَن تَنْكِحُوا أَزْوَاجَهُ مِنْ بَعْدِهِ أَبَدًا. It is not befitting for you, meaning befitting here means it's not permissible for you to harm the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam or to marry his wives after him, which indicated marrying the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam after his death is what? Considered harming the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why Allah the Almighty called the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam our mothers. He said, وَأَزْوَاجُهُ ummahatukum, meaning the wives of the Prophet ﷺ are our mothers. Therefore, it is forbidden for us to marry them due to what? Respect. And this is the first category. The second, due to li'an. And li'an means, from the derivative of the word la'ana. And la'ana means what? Curse, right? And li'an is the invocation of curse against each other between the husband and the wife. And this is when the husband accused the woman of zina. This is what we call li'an. When a situation like this happens, a man walks into his house and may Allah forbid, he finds his wife, with another man. He has no witnesses. If you have 4 witnesses, the had will be established on her. But if you don't have 4 witnesses, what is upon you to do is to either remain silent and let her go. Or you take the complaint to the honest of authority and then say, this is what happened. If he asks you for 4 witnesses, you say you don't have 4 witnesses, then she will be brought. And both of you will invoke the curse of Allah the Almighty against each other, meaning the one who is lying between these 2 parties, may the curse of Allah the Almighty be upon that individual. And this happened is,
I thought in that curse that you put the curse upon that you said you talking about from the ayah and Quran?
yep.
How they do that against each other? Don't they curse in that ayah and curses your kids too, right?
The curse of what?
The case.
No. You're talking about mubahala. There is what we call mubahala. Mubahala is in Surah Al-Imran. And this is when the Christians of Najran came to the Prophet ﷺ, talking about Jesus being the Son of God. And Allah the Almighty revealed Surah Al-Imran, talking about Jesus from his birth and the miraculous birth of Jesus, and then he compared between the birth of Jesus and the creation of Adam. Then Allah the Almighty said, "Inna mathala Isa inda Allah ki mathali Adam." The example of Isa with Allah is like the example of Adam. He created him from dust and then said to him, be, and he was, right? Then Allah the Almighty mentioned after was saying, فَمَنْ حَاجَّكَ فِيهِ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَكَ مِنَ الْحَقِّ. Whoever argued with you regarding the matter of Jesus after the truth has come to you, فَقُلْ تَعَالَوْا. Say to them, come. نَدْعُ أَبْنَاءَنَا وَأَبْنَاءَكُمْ. We will call our children and your children. وَنِسَاءَنَا وَنِسَاءَكُمْ. And our wives and your wives. وَأَنفُسَنَا وَأَنفُسَكُمْ. Ourselves and yourself. ثُمَّ نَبْتَهِلْ. Then we will invoke the curse of Allah the Almighty against the lying person amongst us. But they did not show up. So this we call it mubahala. But li'an is a separate situation. Because this happened during the time of the Prophet ﷺ when they talk about Sa'd ibn Mu'adh. Sa'd ibn Ubadah. He is the leader of the Khazraj. He's somebody who has a very strong jealousy, you know. So when the Prophet ﷺ was with him, and they talk about someone seeing someone with his wife, what should he do? Then the Prophet said, you have to bring 4 witnesses, or you're going to receive what? 80 lashes. So he was like, what? I will see somebody with my wife, and I have to provide 4 witnesses or 80 lashes on my back. He said, Prophet, by Allah, I will kill that individual right away. Right? So the companions said, they said, oh Messenger of Allah, do not hold this against Sa'd, because he is known of his severe jealousy. And the Prophet said, are you amazed of the jealousy of Sa'd? I am more jealous than him. And Allah the Almighty is more jealous than us to see his set limits being transgressed over. But again, this is to say that regardless of your jealousy, regardless of your gira, you should not transgress over the set limits of Allah the Almighty. You have to follow. So when this was happening, Hilal ibn Umayyah, one of the 3 who were left, who were boycotted, the 3 companions, who were boycotted during the Battle of Tabuk, one of them was tested with this. So he came and he said, O Messenger of Allah, this is what I saw with my family. So Allah the Almighty revealed the ayah saying, if one of you see somebody with his wife and he has no proof, and she denied, then this is what's going to happen between them. So the Prophet called her. She came, he called Hilal. The Prophet asked him to curse. If what I'm saying is lying, 4 times, may the curse of Allah the Almighty be upon me. And the last, if I am lying, that's the 5th. May the curse of Allah. Number 1, say, I swear by Allah I'm telling the truth. I'm swearing by Allah I'm telling the truth. I swear by Allah by him. And the 5th, if what I'm saying about her is a lie, then the curse of Allah be upon me. So when he swore till the 4th, was about to say the 5th, the Prophet said, hey, hold his mouth. So they covered his mouth. He said, listen, the punishment of this dunya is lighter than the punishment of the hereafter. So if you are lying, do not swear. He said, by Allah, I'm not lying. So he swore. When it came to the woman, She said, I swear by Allah, he is not telling the truth. I swear by Allah, he's not telling the truth. And the fifth, if he is telling the truth, then may the anger, the wrath of Allah Almighty be upon him. When she was about to say the fifth, the Prophet said, hey, hold on. The punishment of this dunya is lesser than the punishment of the hereafter. Do not. And she said, I'm not going to disgrace my family. So she swore that he is lying. And what happened? The Prophet separated between them. So this separation that happened is separation permanently. They will never ever be able to get remarried. So this is the situation with Leanne. As long as you all come out and you invoke the curse of Allah against each other and you are separated, you will never be reunited. Even if there are children between you, even if you desire to come back again, it's not going to happen. So this is another category of a woman that is permanently forbidden for you to marry. The third is due to blood relationship. And Allah Almighty has mentioned in the Surah An-Nisa. So, حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمْ أُمَّهَاتُكُمْ. So number one, ummahat wa in alayhim. Your mothers are forbidden for you to marry. And that includes grandmothers. وَبَنَاتُكُمْ. Your daughters are forbidden for you to marry. And that includes your granddaughters. Right? وَأَخَوَاتُكُمْ. Your sisters are forbidden for you to marry, whether they are your, full sister or half sister. But your stepsisters, can you marry them or not?
No.
He said
from
no.
your father, but, right? The girl, women from your father, but not the mother, not the same mother. That's the half sister.
That's half sister.
Right.
Half sister is forbidden.
Right.
And half sister is someone that you share common common
Right.
But stepsisters.
Oh, what's this? I don't know.
What's the stepsister?
What's
A stepsister is not of the mother or
Not
the
of the
father,
same family.
but taken in there.
Your dad married somebody and that person comes
Oh, that's a stepsister?
Yeah.
Right. As long as she didn't suck, right?
Right, that's right.
Yeah, as long as she didn't stop, right? Because the reason being is because y'all don't share anyone parent. So let's say a woman was married before, right? And she got divorced, but she has children from the previous marriage. And you also married, you have children. All right. That was something that's enough.
Every day.
When they give a lecture, you don't talk.
Easy.
Keep
Okay,
quiet.
easy.
It's okay, brothers. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, brother.
What's up here? That's okay.
Easy. Excuse me. I want to
It's
learn.
okay, brothers. You don't.
All right, what's up here? All right. Now, so, yeah, you're welcome. All right. So, I'm married. I have children. I got married to this woman who was married before and she has children from a previous marriage. I have boys, she has girls. These children, her children, my children don't share mothers nor fathers. So they are stepsisters. But they can get married because there's no blood relationship between them, nothing whatsoever. I hope this is clear.
It's very clear.
Beautiful. So we're not talking about stepsisters here. We're talking about sisters, whether they are full sister or half sister. You cannot marry them. Yes.
Yeah, I just want to get that clear. You talk about the stepsister, like you married a woman, and she had a daughter with,
From a previous marriage.
and then you got your son, ritual, and then your son, can your son marry that?
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah. So that will give you the chance to be able to raise a wife for your son if you want to do that. But some people, it's not, it doesn't mean that you should do it, but I'm saying nothing makes it what? Haram.
Okay.
All right. So, al-akhawat, you said your sisters are forbidden for you to marry. Wa-ammatukum, and your paternal aunt, they are permanently forbidden for you to marry. Wa-khalatukum, maternal aunts are permanently forbidden for you to marry. Wa-banatul akhi, these are your brother's daughters, nieces from your brother are forbidden for you to marry. وَبَنَاتُ الْأُخْتِ, nieces from your sister are forbidden for you to what? To marry. وَأُمَّهَاتُكُمُ اللَّاتِي أَرْضَعْنَكُمْ, and your mothers who nurse you, not your biological mother, but your nursing mother. I don't know if they still have them these days, but let's say a woman is delivering a baby and during labor she passed away, but the baby made it to this world, and they're looking for someone to breastfeed. And the one who is breastfeeding her, she also has a son, but this woman has a daughter. So she breastfed her son and this daughter until she weaned her out. This son cannot marry that girl. Why? Because that is his sister from suckling. I hope this is clear. Yes.
What if you got that same situation, but they different suckle? The mother died and somebody raised the baby.
Raising is different. You understand? When you raise somebody, let's say you adopted someone who lost his father and you raise them, that does not make it haram.
Right.
Because there is no relationship from suckling or from blood. Now, so وَأُمَّهَاتُكُم مِّنَ الرَّضَاعَةِ, so your mothers who suckle you, وَأَخَوَاتُكُم مِّنَ الرَّضَاعَةِ, likewise your sisters who, sisters from suckling mother, you cannot marry them. وَأُمَّهَاتُ نِسَائِكُمْ, Ummahatu Nisa, the mothers of your wives. These are your mothers in-law. You cannot marry your mother-in-law, and this is permanently forbidden. وَرَبَائِبُكُمُ اللَّاتِي فِي حُجُورِكُمْ مِنْ نِسَائِكُمُ اللَّاتِي دَخَلْتُمْ بِهِنْ. And Raba'ib are your stepdaughters from your wives in which you consummated the marriage. So let's say you marry a woman, right? But before you consummate the marriage, you realize that she has a daughter, or you saw the daughter somewhere and you want to marry the daughter. If you did not consummate the marriage and you got divorced and you see the daughter, you can marry the daughter. I'm not saying because you saw her daughter and be like, no, I don't want you. No. Let's say you married a woman and you did not consummate the marriage and divorce happened between you. In the future, you saw another girl and she happened to be the daughter of that woman whom you were married to. Can you marry her? Yes, as long as you did not consummate the marriage. But if you consummated the marriage, then she becomes permanently what? Forbidden for you. I hope this is clear.
Very clear.
But that now you have,
Now,
if you allow your wife have children for you, and later you marry her daughter get children for you, how those,
You have to repeat this again.
like your wife?
Yes, my wife.
Okay, my wife,
Yes.
we married. She will have children for somebody else.
All right. So
Later now-
meaning that's your stepdaughters.
Yeah,
All right.
that means we separate. I see her daughter somewhere, but we have children.
You cannot marry her. I mean, this is what I mean. If you consummate the marriage, you can never marry her daughters. Never. Period. But if you did not consummate the marriage, you can do that. I hope this is clear. All right. So stepdaughters are permanently what? Forbidden for us. And mother-in-laws are also permanently forbidden for us. Now, وربائبكم اللاتي في حجوركم من نسائكم اللاتي دخلتم بهن فإن لم تكونوا دخلتم بهن فلا جناح عليكم وحلائل أبنائكم, meaning the wives of your children whom they have divorced. So you have a child, which means your daughter-in-law. You can never marry your daughter-in-law even if they were divorced afterwards. I hope this is clear. So these are people that we cannot get married to permanently. Mothers daughters, sisters, paternal aunt, maternal aunt, nieces, mother-in-law, sisters from nursling mother, mothers due to nursling, stepdaughters, and daughters-in-law. All right. Now let's move on to women that we cannot marry temporarily. Number one is sister-in-law.
Right. Right.
You cannot combine them at the same time. So you cannot marry a woman and his sister at the same time. So as long as I'm married to you, your sister is temporarily forbidden for me to marry any of your sisters until there is a divorce between us. So if there's a divorce involved, can I marry my sister-in-law? Yes, you can do that. Is it something that is good to do? It's good to do. Because if you have children with her, you know, you bring someone who will be more sympathetic to his sister's what? Children. It's nothing wrong. I mean, culture may differ. You understand? I mean, if it's in your culture, you feel some way not to do that, that's okay. But is it something that is forbidden? No. So in some cases, it's the best thing to do. Okay? So you cannot marry a woman and her sister at the same time. So she becomes temporarily forbidden. Likewise, your aunt-in-law. You'll say aunt, right? Aunt. Your aunt-in-law. She's also forbidden for you to marry. But the prophet said you should not marry a woman and her aunt. So her aunt is your aunt-in-law. You cannot marry her. But once you guys are divorced, you can marry her. So your maternal and paternal aunt-in-law are temporarily forbidden until you are no longer in relationship with your wife. Also, of course, you cannot marry someone's wife until he divorced her. Also, you cannot marry a woman who is in her waiting period until the waiting period is what? Is over. So while she is in her waiting period, she is temporarily what? Forbidden for you to marry. But after her waiting period is over, then you can marry her. Likewise, a disbelieving woman, other than the people of the book, meaning a Jewish or a Christian. But if she's a disbeliever, then she's forbidden for you to marry her until she believes. All right? So these are the women that we cannot marry them temporarily. Now.
How about your wife cousin?
Oh, you can marry. Yeah. He's asking, can you marry your wife's cousin? You can marry your cousin, not your wife's cousin. You can marry your own what?
Your own cousin.
Yes.
Your wife's cousin.
You can marry.
At the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. You cannot marry her aunt
Right.
or her sister or her mother. Yes. But the cousin you can now.
My father married a lady, and she has a daughter. Can I marry the daughter?
This is a good question. That's your stepsister. You can marry your stepsister. Yeah. Do you understand this question?
But for another marriage.
Huh?
For another marriage, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, we talked about it, but he wasn't here.
He was
Okay,
in
you're in
Yeah,
here.
he wasn't.
Yeah. So he said his dad got married to a woman, and that woman has a daughter. Can he marry that daughter? Yes, you can marry that daughter because she's your stepsister. She's not your full sister or not your half sister. So you can marry her. Yeah.
No blood.
No blood. No. No. And again, cousins are allowed for us to get married to. I know in this culture, it is something that people look at like they shine away from it. But Islamically, it is okay. So here we just want to differentiate between what is halal and what is haram from the book and sunnah, not based on our cultural background. Jazakumullah khairan. If you have any question or comment on what we have just mentioned, we will take it. Or Otherwise, we'll just summarize it again. Yes.
Can you marry two ladies at the same time, at the same day?
Can you marry two women? Yes, you can marry four, not two. You can marry four women at the same day, and as long as there is no obstacle. Yeah, mashallah. Now,
You have the king.
yeah, it's the same day. You can do that.
Yeah, you can. Oh, you got that Jimmy Jam.
Yeah. You just have to pass the law between who is going to take the first night. That's all. You understand? You just have to find a way to see who is going to take the first night. Now. All right. In brief, we mentioned that women that are forbidden for us to marry are of two categories. The first are women who are permanently forbidden for us to marry. The second, women who are temporarily forbidden for us to marry. And then the women who are permanently forbidden for us to marry are of 5 categories. Number 1, those who are forbidden for us to marry due to blood relationship, your relatives, right? Number 2, those who are forbidden for us to marry due to marital relationship, in-laws. Number 3, those who are forbidden for us to marry due to suckling from the same milk. All right, maybe the mom who suckle you, who nurse you, who nurse you, or the sister that you nurse with. And number 4, women who are forbidden for you to marry permanently due to li'an. And we explain what li'an is, and this is what a man saw or accused his wife of zina, and then they ended up invoking the curse of Allah against the life between amongst them, and then they will be separated for good. They will never be remarried. And the 5th, we said, those who are permanently forbidden due to respect and honor, and these are the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We can never marry them. And then those who are temporarily forbidden for us to marry, your sister-in-law until you divorce him, your aunt-in-law, whether it's maternal or paternal, until you divorce your wife. Also, a woman who is in a waiting period, the disbelieving woman until she became a believer. So these are women that are temporarily forbidden for us to marry. Now, we'll take this.
I overheard something before I came in. You say you can marry 2 at once?
Yeah, you can marry 2 at once. Yep.
That's all you got outside?
Let me hear Zakir, please.
Get up.
They never can get married again. Even if the woman get married and then get divorced.
Yes, even if the woman get married and get divorced, they can get married again. And with this, you mentioned the last category of women that are temporarily forbidden for you to marry. A woman whom you divorced 3 times. You cannot marry her again. But this is temporarily until she got married and get divorced, then you can marry her. But as long as she not get married and get divorced, you cannot marry her. No. Jazakallah khairan. But that is not applied only on Subhanakallah wa bihamdik.